when you change lanes, please have courtesy to those who are still bowling. Good luck. Make a lot of strikes. And have fun.
Good morning, everybody. Live from Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, underway with our first squad of the singles qualifying here at the 2014 World Bowling Men's Championships at Zayed Sports City, the Khalifa International Bowling Center. We start off game one with Lithuania, Chinese Taipei, Korea, and Greece on the featured pairs. And if you've watched the World Championships in the past, you know the format. It's 6 games of qualifying, and after 4 squads, the top 4 bowlers in the standings will advance into the medal round, and that'll take place tomorrow afternoon here in Abu Dhabi. You can find the results and other information at worldbowling.org. That's going to be a good place for you to find the live scoring as well as the results and schedule. When you get to worldbowling.org, you can go to the events tab and click on championships, and that'll take you right to the page that has the link to the results and the online scoring. Results to be updated after each game. Online scoring will let you view the scoreboard of any of the lanes inside the bowling center here once they get it up and running.
Okay, I try to tell somebody.
So this is our opening game of 6 on this squad. So just getting started. We've got 3 squads today and 1 squad tomorrow morning to close out the qualifying, and then the medal round will be held tomorrow afternoon, and you can find the schedule inside the bulletin at worldbowling.org. You can also look on the results page, click on the participants list for this squad, and it'll tell you all of the bowlers who are on this squad. Get an idea of who you might see on the featured pairs here this morning in our opening squad of the tournament. Also has lane assignments on there, so you can tell when your favorite player or country is going to make it onto the featured pairs. We are on 9, 10, 11, 12 for live streaming. Also will help you to follow the moves, because they don't skip in the same number of lanes each game. It varies by game. So you'll be able to check that out to keep an eye on it for the online scoring so that you can know where to go next to find your favorite player. But if you're just joining us, opening game here from Abu Dhabi in the Men's World Championships singles event. I'm Lucas Wiseman from Bold TV, Matt Cannizzaro, Bold TV here as well. Good morning, Matthew. We gotta work on getting Matt's mic working here. And now you're on.
How about that? Lucas trying to put the muzzle on me already. It's only day one, game one. But so much going on here at the bowling center already. Live Abu Dhabi TV in the building. And they are all around, cameras all over.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're broadcasting live yet this morning, but they will be a little bit later on today.
Camera guy just in front of us.
I think they're doing some highlight videos throughout the tournament as well, so maybe they'll have some of that.
Very, very big deal here.
Right now they've got live camel races on Abu Dhabi Sports TV right now, so once that ends, maybe they'll have the bowling on. But in the meantime, all the rounds of competition will be broadcast live here on Bold TV.
Right now, Lucas, in singles, they're bowling on the long pattern. It is the 43-foot Tokyo, and you'll see certainly different plans of attack throughout the day. Again, a long pattern and a medium pattern. The other, the 38-foot Atlanta, will be used throughout the week, alternating events, and the team event taking place on both patterns.
Got Korea on the featured pairs for this game. Koreans with a strong team like usual. We'll have to see how they perform this week. They've got some past world champions on the squad again this time around, so they should be a pretty tough team to contend with.
Lucas, just looking at this pattern already, some of the players get kind of deep to start, believe it or not. And we've got 6 games of traffic going to come over the next couple of hours, so it should be very interesting to see how these different styles adapt and handle the lane conditions here.
For those of you just tuning in, this is our first game of the World Bowling Men's Championships from Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Online scoring and results available at worldbowling.org. Click on events and then championships, and you will find the links. Looks like online scoring not quite working just yet, but hopefully I get it up and running soon. Make sure if you're on Twitter that use the hashtag for the official hashtag for the tournament, which is 2014 WBMC. Once again, it's 2014 WBMC. You can see that on the bottom of your screen. That's the official hashtag for the tournament for Twitter. Well, so far, score's not too high on the featured pairs, with the exception of Leonidas from Greece with the front 5. He'll be up on lane 11 here in just a moment. This is the squad that'll set the early pace for the scoring here in the singles event. Again, only the top 4 players advance into the medal round after 6 games with all squads combined. So it's a very harsh cut, very difficult cut to make. And in the singles event, you can see just about anybody make it into the top 4 to bowl for the medals. As we move along in the championships and start putting players together for doubles, trios, and team, you'll see the stronger teams advance into the medal round. But in the singles event, just take 6 games of great bowling to make it in. And Kęstutis of Lithuania up on lane 10 bowled the 300 game on Bowl TV at the World Cup a couple of years ago in Krasnoyarsk, Russia. Bit of a struggle thus far for Lithuania, though.
Lucas, by my calculations, we have the 2-time defending world singles champion Bill O'Neill here this year with Team USA.
Looks like Bill bowls on the last squad of today. Looks like all 6 of the U.S. guys are bowling today. It's just random draw determines who bowls on what squad. And I'm going to guess that Jason Belmonte bowls on squad 4, and he does. So, and looks like Belmo actually will be on the featured pairs tomorrow morning. So if you're a Jason Belmonte fan, want to watch the Australian two-hander, he'll be on the featured pairs game 5 tomorrow on the 4th squad of the singles event.
Certainly the best of the best here at the World Men's Championships. Last World Championships took place last year, 2013, here in Las Vegas. Henderson, Nevada. Mentioned Bill O'Neill taking home the singles title. John Zerbinski and Chris Barnes won doubles gold. Barnes will be back at it here in 2014. Trios went to Canada. Mark Buffa, Francois Lavoie, and Patrick Gerard. And then, of course, the exciting team events went to Finland. Ended Team USA's 3-year run, denied the U.S. a 4th consecutive team title. As always, an exciting conclusion to the week. All events champion 2013 Chris Barnes. And it was Korea sweeping Masters gold at the end of the week.
I want to mention, for those of you who would like to watch in a little bit higher quality, you can look right under the Bowl TV logo on the screen. There's a little gear symbol, and if you mouse over it, it says settings. If you click that, you can change the quality level of the live stream that you're watching, and that might help to make the scoreboards a little easier to read and make the picture a little bit clearer, as we are broadcasting in high definition here from Abu Dhabi. So far, it's been a great start for Leonidas of Greece. He has the front 7 on our featured pairs. Like I said, this singles event is a bit of a sprint, so big first game can go a long way. And on the flip side, one bad game can really eliminate your medal chances in the singles event, especially if the scores are on the higher side. And you see on the back of Leonidas' shirt, it says Hellas. That is Greece. Hellas in their native language, but Greece to those who speak English. And let's see if he can get the front 8 here. There it is. So far, so good. Great start for Leonidas Morocco. Hard to say. Tough for us. There's a lot of bowlers in this tournament. There's a lot of challenging names for us that we don't recognize, but do our best. And if you know a better pronunciation of some of the names that we might get wrong, feel free to send us a tweet or comment in the chat.
Well, Lucas, you mentioned it's only 6 games of singles. Certainly a sprint, but a mental challenge as well. And we talked to a couple players yesterday, just during practice even, moving across the house. One of the players came by and said he felt like he just bowled 100 games, just trying to get prepared physically and mentally. Not a lot of room for error, as you mentioned. In a long week, you bowl in this first squad and you post your score, then you have to wait more than 24 hours to see if you can hold on. Nerve-wracking at the same time. And at this level, do you feel there's a huge advantage, you think, to bowling later, being able to watch a couple squads, or do you think that might make it a little bit harder?
We've seen it both ways. Sometimes higher scores come on the first squad. Sometimes they come on the later squads. You just don't know.
I would guess some players like to just get out there and post the number and be the number rather than spend 2 days watching and wondering.
That one got away from Leonidas, and so the string of strikes comes to an end with that 3-6, 9-10.
Certainly a tough spare for your first spare of the World Championships.
Still a great start, though, but got to carry that momentum forward the rest of the way. So an open frame for Leonidas in the ninth, 234 with 1 frame to go, 264 max score. Still a fantastic start, regardless of how it finishes here for Greece. Well, it looks like the live scoring is now up and running. So if you'd like to check that out, you can. Go to worldbowling.org, click on events and championships, and you'll be able to find the link to the live scoring as well as the results page.
Lucas, I think you're about as famous as some of the top bowlers here at the World Championships. People have been coming by, taking pictures of you all week long. Glad to meet the voice behind Bowl TV. Upset some of them that they can't be home watching, listening, chatting in the chat room.
Fortunately, Bowl TV is available on demand afterwards, so they can. Some of them, I'm sure, will go back and watch the live streaming once the squad is over. So a lot of them use it as a teaching tool. The bowlers do, to go back and see what went wrong or what went right.
Even yesterday during the official practice session, they were hoping we were live on Bowl TV.
Yeah, I have fixed the live stream. It's running now. Thanks. I don't like that 30 minutes ago. But nothing has happened. It's all working now, so like that. Make sure you use the hashtag on Twitter, 2014 WBMC. We're monitoring that throughout the tournament. And I'll respond to some of your questions on there as we go along throughout the events. Just tuning in, you're watching live coverage of the 2014 World Bowling Men's Championships here on Bowl TV. We're live from Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Game number 1 coming to a close in our opening squad of the singles event. Looks like the high score on our featured pairs is going to be Leonidas from Greece, who can get to 264. If he strikes out, he's up right now on lane 11 as our opening game is coming to a close.
Well, look at some pretty decent scores actually here on game number 1 on this 43-foot pattern. And game 1 going pretty quickly. Of course, the first of 18 games we're going to watch today. But some good numbers here. A couple 240s to one side here.
Well, you would expect that we would have some good scores in the first game because they get 10 minutes of practice on the pair to start. And sometimes you'll see some real good scores the first game, and then once they make that move to game 2, things get a little bit tougher because they have to figure out a different pair. But we'll have to see. We'll have a pretty good idea as we move along here these next few games what the scoring pace might look like. And a lot of the countries do tend, and this isn't always the case, but do tend to try to put their better players on the later squads.
Well, again, giving them a chance to check out the action and see how the lanes are being played. While a lot of the teams have been here throughout the week doing some unofficial practice sessions, they didn't unveil the patterns until just 2 days ago. And then they had about an hour yesterday for the official practice and the opportunity to bowl across the house on both lane conditions. And that was their one chance to really get an idea. And then being able to watch some of the early squads, for many players, could be an advantage. And for some, maybe not so much. We talked about that a little bit earlier.
Well, the Koreans with, I would say, an okay start, 216, 212, probably a little bit lower than they would like to see in the opening game. Greece 254 and possible 211 as we wind down game one on the featured pairs. Lithuania, Chinese Taipei still finishing up the 9th frame. I think in order to stay on schedule today, we need to average about 35 minutes a game. And should be pretty close to that here in game one. And if you've watched the World Championships before, you know that usually they have a whistle that indicates the end of a game and another whistle to begin the next game. They will not be doing that here in the singles event. They're just going to move when they're done and start when their pair is ready. And they're going to see how that goes in the singles event, and if it goes well, they'll continue to do that, and if it doesn't go well, then they'll go back to the whistle for the doubles. But that should help move things along a little bit quicker.
Lucas, I know you've been to a lot of bowling centers around the world, and I'm just very early in my international travels, but as far as bowling centers go, I think this is probably one of the finest I've seen, and very accommodating of this World Championship event. The high ceilings, the bright lights, and plenty of room for spectators. And again, we have Abu Dhabi TV here.
It feels more like a convention center feel. You can't really tell on the live stream, but the ceilings are really high. It's a curved ceiling, and it goes all the way from just above the pin setters that you see there. That's kind of the low level of the roof line, and it curves all the way up to the top of the second floor here with lights everywhere, so it makes it great for live streaming. Lots of lighting, so that makes it nice and bright. Very
spectator friendly, and even behind us up top, there's offices and seating areas, kind of like a skyboxes even for bowling here, and giant video monitors for standings, and really a great feel for this World Championship event. Certainly the local folks, very helpful and friendly and accommodating from the minute we walked off the plane even, to retrieve us at the airport and make sure that everything is to our liking and running smoothly here. Today is just the first of 9 days of competition.
just about done with game 1. Lithuania and Chinese Taipei finishing up. Scores not too high on that pair. And we should be rolling into game 2 relatively soon. I don't think they skip a pair after the first game. I think they just move one pair to the right or the left. So should be getting started here as soon as we get finished with the pairs on either side of 11 and 12. Then that'll help to move things along and get started with game 2. I see some of the other pairs looks like they're getting ready to start off their second game already.
Well, this is a 40-lane center. Of course, 6 games. You want to roll across the whole entire house, and then when it gets down to the semifinals and finals, we'll have it right here in front of us. We are behind lanes 9 through 12. And we'll be here for the entire 9 days. Everybody making their quick move. One pair to the right, and game 2 will be underway momentarily. So very helpful names and scores carry over immediately. Right lane moves right, left lane moves left. One pair. Couple of handshakes and game 2 about to get started. We have Iran, Korea, Chinese Taipei, and Qatar here in game number 2. High game of these 8 players in the opener, 230. And we'll see what game 2 brings. Again, they had 10 minutes of practice before the first game. Another unique part of international competition here is that you're allowed to change your ball surface in between games. You want to freshen things up, or you didn't quite have the look you're hoping for in the previous game, it's an opportunity to try something a little bit different. You have to do it before your first shot so you don't get the chance to see what the lanes are going to give you. But certainly at this level and with the experience level of these coaches, it is not hard to make a good guess.
All right, game 2. Iran, Korea, Qatar, Chinese Taipei again on the featured pairs for our second game. Should have the standings relatively soon, and as soon as we do, we'll let you know. Just tuning in, you're watching live coverage of the World Bowling Men's Championships here on Bowl TV. It's our opening squad of the singles event, game number 2 underway. As soon as we have an update on the standings, we will let you know. Looks like have an update here. Alex Liu of Malaysia, 268. Leonidas Maragos of Greece, 254. John Wells of England, 242. Timo Schroeder of Germany, 237. Shogo Wada of Japan, 235. Lyndon Walters of Wales, 235. And Yusuke Yamamoto of Japan, 235. So some decent scores in the opening game to start things off. And as I continue to look at the scores scrolling here, an awful lot of bowlers plus the first game. Looks like 25th place is 213 after game 1, so pretty good scores to start things off, and we'll have to see if that continues forward here into game 2. Looks like our leader from Malaysia, Alex Liu, down on lane 4, if you'd like to follow him on the live scoring this game. And we will have Malaysia on the featured pairs in game number 3. So next game, Malaysia will be joining us on the featured pairs. I know we've got a lot of Malaysian fans in the chat room watching the live streaming, so your country will be coming up in game 3 here on Bowl TV. So make sure you spread the word and tell your countrymates to tune in to Bowl TV to watch Malaysia Bowl in game 3 here in just a little bit, probably in about 30 minutes.
We do appreciate everybody tuning in, the crowd growing online. Always great to see support from around the world. You're watching the first qualifying squad here of singles at the 2014 World Bowling Men's Championships. We're at the Zayed Sports City here in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Quite a facility they have here, part of this sprawling complex. And so many different stadiums and sports represented here. It really is a one-of-a-kind sports city, training ground for the top athletes. And even as we watch bowling live, we've got rugby on one TV, camel racing on the other. No doubt the best of the best have come through Zayed Sports City, and now the best bowlers in the world. Well, 3 squads today, 6 games each. One more squad tomorrow. And then we'll cut to the top 4 players for the semifinals. We've got 49 countries represented here for the 270 players. Looking for gold medals, singles, doubles, trios, team, all events, and masters. A lot on the line this week here in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for tuning in.
Standings are updated on worldbowling.org now after the first game, so if you want to check those out, feel free. I ran through them for you real quick a couple of minutes ago, but Alex Liu of Malaysia, 268. Leonidas Marakos of Greece, 254. John Wells of England, 242. Timo Schroeder of Germany, 237. That's your top 4 after game 1. And you can find the results at worldbowling.org. Click on events and then on championships. Take you right there. Or we have a link underneath the video you're watching here on Bowl TV to that page.
Once again, these players are bowling on the 43-foot Tokyo pattern. And the World Bowling has a bank of patterns that they use for international competition. And just prior to competition this week, 2 patterns were selected, Tokyo and a 38-foot Atlanta. A long and a medium, but with the 43-foot pattern, that generally would dictate that the players are going to start a little bit farther left. Just some basic strategies involved in deciding where to play. But generally you're going to be a little bit farther inside and migrate left as the day progresses. That's not a definite, it's just a general way of looking at things. You'll see some players throughout the day a little bit straighter, just different styles, different preferences. But it looks like the majority of the players are around 18 to 20 at the arrows already. And just game 2 of 6.
Alex Liu from Malaysia, who is the leader after the first game, struggling a bit here this game. He's down on lane 4 if you want to follow him on the live scoring. Spare strike open for Alex, and we will see the Malaysians in game 3 coming up next. Scores don't look quite as high this game. Some bowlers who can bowl some decent games this game, but doesn't seem to be too high scoring here in game 2, at least early on. But we've got still about 4 frames to go this game. Koreans not really putting up any big numbers. Making both max in the 230s this game. Highest score on our featured pairs right now is Sing Chao Cheng of Chinese Taipei. Strike spare 4-bagger to start off game 2. Another nice shot. 5 in a row.
It does seem like the players playing a little bit straighter here early on are finding a little bit more success, a little bit more consistent reaction. Of course, straighter often the safer route. I'm sure that will change a little bit as the lanes open up, but early on, straighter seems to be greater.
Well, the field average in game one was 196.79, which obviously is an average of all 66 bowlers on the squad. So you had a few bowlers who shot, you had 12 bowlers who shot 230 or better. But then by contrast, you had 13 bowlers who shot less than 170. So that kind of evens it out. I think overall, I think that 196 is a little bit lower than I would have thought for the field for the first game, but that number's pretty relative. You can kind of get a better idea if you compare that number to the next squad and see if that 196 for the first game goes up a little bit in squads 2, 3, and 4. I would guess that it will.
Well, game 2 here in the first singles qualifying squad at the World Bowling Men's Championships. Coming to a close. 6 games on each squad, and the top 4 overall will advance to the semifinals. Some big numbers in game 1.
Yeah, and our leader, Alex Liu of Malaysia, 268. First game, can only shoot 207 with 2 frames to go this game.
Even Lucas Wiseman taking advantage of the live scoring. We're in the venue, but
it's the best way to see what's going on since we are stationary and can't move. I can kind of flip through and see if anybody's putting up a big game. Not seeing too many huge games here in game 2.
a sprawling 40-lane center. Plenty of room, plenty going on. It looks like all but 2 pairs in action right now.
Yeah, it looks like we're using lanes 3 through 36, I believe. So that'll change, I think, throughout the squads. They'll may use a few more, but actually we're supposed to be 5 squads of singles, but they cut back to 4. No complaining by anybody about that. 49 countries, 272 bowlers in the tournament this year. Finishing up game 2 with Korea, Iran, Chinese Taipei, and Qatar. Wrapping things up, and then these countries will move off the featured pairs, and we'll get a new group of bowlers in for game number 3, including Malaysia. I know we got a lot of Malaysians watching, so we'll be seeing Malaysia next game.
Well, we've got a couple decent games on our 2 featured pairs here, and a couple of struggles. That is the roller coaster. That is these challenging lane conditions. And we are in the home of the world's fastest roller coaster. We saw it last night at Ferrari World, just down the street. However, with just 6 games of singles, there's not time for a roller coaster ride. Koreans finding their stride here in game number 2 in the back half. Both of them could end up in the 230s. Both off to decent starts in game 1. Keep an eye on them as the day progresses. Iran struggling a little bit. Game 2. We haven't seen a lot of lefties come through so far, but just to our right, Chemo. from Finland. Throws the last 4 for 215. He certainly knows how to strike. Finland took home the team title last year in the Las Vegas area.
حلو احمد حلو ابو يوسف حلو حلو
Don't forget that we will have medal rounds every other day here on Bowl TV. The medal round for the singles event scheduled to take place tomorrow
حلو احمد
afternoon at, let's see here,
ابو يوسف
I believe 1:30 p.m. local time is when we're scheduled to start the singles medal round tomorrow afternoon. And always exciting. Going to have 2 semifinals and a final to determine the placement of the medalists in this year's World Championships singles event for the men. So make it a point to tune in for those medal rounds every other day here on Bowl TV, and you can find the schedule in the third bulletin on worldbowling.org.
حلو حلو نايس نايس
Or if you're in the United States, we've got the schedule in Eastern Time on bowl.com/bowltv. Sorry, bowl.com/livestream is where you can find the schedule in Eastern Time. Bowl.com/bowltv is where you can find the live streaming. Nice game for Sing Chao Cheng, 256, Chinese Taipei. After 188 the first game, it's going to put him at plus 44 for the first 2 games. Getting ready to start on 9 and 10, game number 3, Belarus and Saudi Arabia.
Certainly the new strategy here with letting the bowlers advance and start the next game. Nobody's
Working well so far. They should have been done with game 2 at 10:10, and it's 10:07, so not right on schedule, if not a minute or 2 early for some of the pairs. So far,
nobody
so
really
good.
falling behind, and the idea behind the old strategy was to have everybody move and start at the same time. So everybody within a frame or so of each other. So far, so good. It may feel like a marathon as you're working through your 6 games, but it certainly goes relatively quickly. Not a lot of room for mistakes. Before you know it, you're watching and waiting.
نايس نايس السلام نايس
right, so game 3 already underway on lanes 9 and 10. Belarus and Saudi Arabia. Malaysia coming our way. Both players more than plus 50 already through 2 games. Off to a great start.
As soon as we have the updated standings, we'll let you know. Should be coming in pretty soon. Looks like everybody's just finished up with the second game. So as soon as we have that update for you, we will let you know. Among the bowlers on our featured pairs this game, the highest bowlers are Alex Liu at plus 53 and Adrian Ong of both of Malaysia plus 52. Another strong start for Malaysia. 3 out of 4. Again, we are behind lanes 9 through 12. The Zayed Sports City. Still waiting on the update in the standings after game 2. This is game 3 of 6. First of 3 squads here today. I have all the action live for you here on Bowl TV. This is Matt Canizaro and Lucas Wiseman. The online crowd continues to grow. Thanks for joining us. Well, make sure you tell your friends to tune in. Post the link to the live streaming on Facebook and Twitter as well. You can send people to bowl.com/bowltv. Bowl.com/bowltv is the best place to find the live streaming that's currently in progress. It looks like we've got updated standings on the website here. Glenn Morton Peterson of Norway, 465 is your leader after 2 games. Sean Rash of the United States at 463 is second. Shung Hyun Shin of Korea, 454, and John Wells of England at 454, tied for third. Alex Liu of Malaysia at 453 in 5th place. And Adrian of Malaysia, 452, tied with Unes Jenkkinen of Finland, both 452, tied for 6th after 2 games. You can find the standings at worldbowling.org.
Itu dia.
Love to hear your thoughts on what's going on in the competition. You can use the hashtag 2014WBMC on Twitter. 2014WBMC on Twitter. We are monitoring that and welcome your questions or comments using that hashtag on Twitter. Already had a few questions that we answered earlier, so be sure to post your questions or comments on Twitter using the hashtag 2014WBMC. That hashtag also on the bottom of the screen for you as well. It's a long day of competition here at the World Bowling Men's Championships. This is just game 3. We've got a total of 18 games today throughout the 3 squads. Fortunately for the bowlers, none of the bowlers bowl that many games, but Bowl TV will show you every game throughout the day today. As after this game, we'll be halfway through the opening squad. Squad 2 coming up about an hour after we finish this squad, and then Squad 3 this evening. Squad 4 tomorrow morning, and then that will finalize the top 4 who will bowl for the medals tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 p.m. here in Abu Dhabi. And if you're watching on YouTube and you're in the chat, let us know what country you're watching from. You can also do that on Twitter using the hashtag. Let us know what country you're watching from, and we'll try to give you a shout out here on the live stream. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, you can follow @WorldBowling. That's the official Twitter handle of World Bowling. They're posting lots of content on the Men's World Championship. And I'm @Lucas_Wiseman, and Matt is @USBC Matt. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter and send us some tweets. Now Joe's watching from the U.S. Shinigami 1993 from Australia. Trent in Australia. They are chiming in our YouTube chat. You could let us know where you're watching from on Twitter as well, using the hashtag 2014WBMC. Noel watching from Sydney, Australia. Mark in the U.S. Daniel in Canada. Beck's watching in Australia using the hashtag on Twitter. Ryan in Pennsylvania in the United States. Luke watching in Australia. Mohammed says, nice one, Malaysia. So I assume that Mohammed is in Malaysia. Keith is watching in Illinois in the United States.
certainly not a bad representation. We do appreciate everybody tuning in. A lot of folks stayed up late or waking up early to watch their favorite players. Bowling, of course, doing work, making a push towards being the Olympics. This is the next closest thing. 49 countries represented here in Abu Dhabi this week.
A couple more tweets coming in. David Kirby watching from Queensland, Australia. And Jens watching from Sweden. Thanks, guys, for sending in the tweets. A couple of more coming in, it looks like. Dan McClellan watching from his hotel room. Hi, Dan. Thanks for watching. And Jason says it's just past midnight in Minnesota, and he's hoping to see Rash and Kent make the medals.
In most cases, we'd say pick your pony and cheer on your favorite horse in the race, but here in Abu Dhabi, so it's all about the camels.
That's right. Pick your favorite camel.
Pick your camel and watch throughout the week. A lot of competition, singles, doubles, trios, team, all events, masters. So many gold medals and so much pride on the line here.
And if you want to see a video of the camel races, you can go to my Facebook page. I posted a couple of videos that have been pretty popular so far. Facebook.com/LR Wiseman. Right now, we sit here all day. We can watch the camel races while we watch the bowling. So it's
right above the score monitors, there's a TV.
I tell you what, these camels run endlessly. It's amazing. They have more marathon than the bowlers do, I think. But anyway, it's pretty cool. Camel races. It is kind of a traditional spectacle here in the UAE. And one of those cool things that you get to see when you travel to different parts of the world. Every country has something unique about it. UAE has quite a few unique things, from the Grand Mosque that we got to see last night to the camel races and the Ferrari world with the world's fastest roller coaster. All kinds of cool stuff here in Abu Dhabi. And you can follow Matt and I on Twitter for our adventures through Abu Dhabi, although most of our adventures have concluded now that competition is officially underway. Not much time for any extracurricular activities.
Well, 9 long days of competition coming up, but you can't travel so many miles around the world and not at least take a little bit of an advantage of what there is to offer in the local culture, and if you're brave enough, the local cuisine. But now it's all about bowling. It's day 1 of 9.
Anton watching from Newcastle, Australia, sending in a tweet. Thanks, Anton, for watching. I know Bowl TV is very popular in Australia. We've got a lot of Australians who watch Bowl TV. And I've actually got a lot of Australians who follow me on Twitter, believe it or not, from all of the live streaming done internationally. So,
well, I don't have a lot of anybody who follows me on Twitter, but
that's right. Matt could use some followers.
I would admit I'm probably not that interesting.
You can follow Matt at USBC Matt. You can follow me at Lucas_Wiseman.
All right, there's a tough break for Lou there, the left-hander on the 3-bagger. Gets 4 through the middle. Again, Malaysians off to a very strong start here.
Another tweet coming in, George Ferlingos, who probably should be here bowling for Australia, wanting to know how the Aussies are doing so far, and not so great. A little bit of a slow start for the Aussies. They're just off to the right of the featured pairs. David Porto is minus 40 for the first 2 games, and Brendan Meads is minus 26.
Nice effort to our left there from Saudi player.
Adel Al-Bariki.
He's going to be in the 240s. 80 pins better than the next best player on 9 out of 10.
Matt, a little hesitant to go with the name there, but you just got to
not quite brave enough yet.
Say it with confidence, and hope that you get it right. A lot of names that we won't know how to pronounce this week. So if we do screw up a name, feel free to tweet at us and let us know. That way we can get it right next time we try to say it.
Your
Jason,
advice there in Hong Kong, and just
that's right. Say it with confidence.
say it with confidence, even if you're wrong.
Jason Reinders has a question. Matt, maybe you can answer this one. What pattern are they bowling on today?
Well, today in the singles competition, the 43-foot Tokyo pattern, and the other pattern this week, the 38-foot Atlanta, so a long and a medium. And we're going to alternate throughout the week. Singles on the long pattern, doubles on the medium Atlanta. Then trios, they'll actually bowl on both patterns, and team event they'll bowl on both patterns. So a little bit of a challenge there, the diversity of the two patterns, and certainly a test of versatility. And again, the other interesting thing in international competition is that you're only limited to so many bowling balls. So you really have to think through your arsenal before you travel and have bowling balls that you can manipulate the surface perhaps, or change your hand positions to battle, because you don't know what the conditions are going to be when you leave home for the World Championships. And it's not until opening day that those are unveiled. So hopefully you made the right guess. You can make the right tweaks. Even between games, you're allowed to change your surfaces, so as the pattern changes, or if you're looking for a different look. But that's why you need to develop your personal versatility as well as your arsenal.
Well, worth mentioning that Adrian Ong of Malaysia, who is right up there near the top of the standings, and he's on our featured pairs this game, double spare, followed by a string of 6 strikes in a row. Got a couple other tweets coming in. Gav Roberts watching at 6:30 a.m. here in the UK. That is quite early. Thanks for your dedication to the sport. Natalie, not watching, but her parents are. Mom and Dad are watching in San Antonio.
Natalie striking summer.
That's
Natalie
right.
Savant.
John Boone watching from England. Thanks, John, for watching. KT Simpson. It's a good thing it's the weekend, so she can stay up and watch the World Bowling Men's Championships all night long.
Lucas Shannon O'Keefe checking in via Twitter here. And she might be coming this way in a few months.
Yeah, next year maybe.
The World Women's Championships coming to Abu Dhabi in late fall. I'm sure no greater pleasure than representing your country on the lanes. And here we're watching more than 270 players from 49 countries getting the opportunity to do that.
Well, let's take a look at Adrian here from Malaysia. As they say in the chat, he's on fire and just cooled off a little bit on that shot. Left the 4-pin, still going to be in the 250s, but in a short format like this, 10th frames are very, very critical to try to get as many pins as possible. And Adrian could have gotten into the 270s this game and loses 21 pins essentially on that shot versus striking out. As we approach the halfway point of our opening squad of the singles event here at the World Bowling Men's Championships. People starting to use the hashtag more and more. Let's see here. Please shout out Jaden Lloyd watching from Victoria, Australia. Go Aussies. There you go, Jaden. Thanks for watching. And John Baresh watching the World Bowling Championships from the Netherlands, 7:30 in the morning. We got some folks who've been getting up early and drinking their coffee, watching Bowl TV, live coverage of the World Bowling Men's Championships. We hope that you will join us throughout the competition. We've got a lot of days of live streaming. We'll go all the way through December 14th with coverage every day here on Bowl TV. Adrian Ong finishes with 256. And And that will put him at plus 108, so 708 for the first 3 games for Adrian. That is a great start for him. He was in 6th place coming into this game.
I think it's got to be a little bit addicting even. Once you turn on the live stream, you almost can't turn it off because you want to stick around and see what's going on. Then you watch one squad, then you want to see how those scores hold up. So you're watching the second one, and before you know it, you spent the entire week with us. And certainly, we do appreciate everybody tuning in. It's because of you guys that we're able to do what we do and get the opportunity to travel around the world and bring you bowling here on Bowl TV. Right now, you're watching the end of game number 3 here. So halfway through the opening squad of singles at the 2014 World Bowling Men's Championships. 256 for Adrian Ong from Malaysia. He's making a run at the top of the leaderboards here, halfway through the squad. And up on lane 12 now, Farhat Koskin will be in the 220s. He's making the move back to the plus side of the standings. And with that spare from Alex Liu, game 3 done. He finishes with 184, drops to plus 37.
Well, the live scoring went offline, but they're getting it fixed, so should be good to go. Yeah, we've got a couple of comments on Twitter using the hashtag 2014 WBMC about the live scoring going offline, but it is being fixed as we speak. Juan is enjoying the streaming from Florida and says, "Let's go Columbia." And Anton wants us to give a shout out to his son Josh Morris, watching in Newcastle as well. So hello to Josh. Should be getting started with game 4 in just a couple of minutes. Game 4 not even scheduled to start until about 10:45, so we're a little bit ahead of schedule, 8 minutes ahead on our featured pairs, and still have some pairs finishing up this game. Yuri's watching in Finland, says it's Independence Day in Finland, watching the live streaming. I know Pekka Korpi, the tournament director, welcomed us all this morning at the start of the squad by saying, it was so nice of you to show up to celebrate Finland's independence. And we'll celebrate by bowling the first squad of the singles event. So we are aware that it is Independence Day in Finland. So hopefully you have a chance to go out and celebrate today. And George Ferlingos wants to know if I have any predictions on how many 300s will not be bowled due to the Wiseman jinx. And he says at least 3. So George thinking I'm going to jinx at least 3 300 games, and I will take the over. Let's hope that I'm wrong.
Well, Lucas, you mentioned Independence Day in Finland, but we had the unique opportunity to be a part of National Day here in Abu Dhabi, and they celebrated 43 years of the United Arab Emirates, and it was a one-of-a-kind opportunity, a parade like no other, just in front of the hotel. So we got to see so much national pride. Very interesting experience to say the least. Much different than a 4th of July celebration that we might be used to back home. But certainly humbling to be on site and a part of such a festive day here in Abu Dhabi. I know you might not be as fazed by some of the different things that you encounter traveling around the world, as you've been to 87 countries or whatever the numbers are.
No, like 44.
But this is number 4 or 5 for me, and certainly every day is an eye-opening experience.
We got some more tweets coming in. Let's see here. Bob Menconi loves watching the bowling, 10:30 p.m. in Brentwood, California. We're doing a great job. Well, thank you very much, Bob. Your check's in the mail. Jenny Kent wants us to tell Marshall hi from his aunt in Yakima, Washington.
That's PBA champion Marshall
right.
Kent. Just picked up his first PBA national title in Saudi Arabia a few days ago. There's a confidence builder coming into the World Championships.
And Clarissa Filson watching at 1:39 in the morning in Pennsylvania. So thank you, Clarissa, for sharing some of your insomnia time with us. We hope that you stay up all night and watch the live streaming here on Bold TV. We are going to be online for the next, I'd say, about 11 hours.
Well, some folks mentioning good thing it's the weekend. And certainly, and we appreciate you spending your weekend with us here on Bold TV.
Park Jung-woo tweeting at me saying nice watching. So thanks for watching, Park. Got a lot of folks tuning in to the live streaming here. So we wait for our fourth game to start. And looks like they are about to get started on 9 and 10. Well, a couple of neighbors in the world, Hong Kong and Macau. On the featured pairs, 9 and 10. Macau, just a short ferry ride away from Hong Kong. Matt and I did that earlier this year, actually, when we were in Hong Kong for the World Youth Championships.
Yes, I'm counting that as a different country.
Absolutely, you
That's it.
should. I completely agree.
2 countries in one trip. I was able to double my world travels in one day.
That's right. Natalie Goodman says shout out to her and Elise watching the live streaming. So hello to Natalie and Elise back in the States. Always nice to know we've got a lot of people watching live streaming. Darth Munch says, poor Matt and Lucas, their voices will be rough by the final day. And let's hope not. We will try to kind of conserve our energy and our voices a little bit as we go along throughout the qualifying process. But we always have more energy in the first squad than we do as we move along. So we're just finishing up game 3 on some of the pairs and transitioning into game 4 right now. Still on schedule here on this first squad.
Well, Lucas, we are athletes, so we're finally tuned and we're ready to endure 18 games today. You're well hydrated. And we're already halfway through squad number 1. It feels like we just got here, but game 4 already underway. You'll see some interesting styles here, it looks like, in game 4. So a spinner there for Macau, China. Now we have Hong Kong, led by world champion Bill Hoffman, and Hall of Famer Del Ballard Jr. These guys are wasting no time on lanes 9 and 10, 11 and 12. Going to fire back up here in a minute.
Hafiz enjoys watching the live streaming from Malaysia, so thanks for watching. Another one using the hashtag 2014 WBMC. Hong Kong, Macau, Russia, Philippines on the featured pairs this game. SG says been watching from Turkey. Hope that can be there next year. Have a nice day to all of you. So thank you for watching in Turkey. We are in game 4, so we're past the halfway point. Looks like everybody has started with their 4th game, right about on schedule.
There's the unique spinner style there for Macau, China. I'm sure there'll be some discussion about that during game number 4 here. Lucas, we got a chance to see some of these players too recently during the World Youth Championships. So a lot of bowlers making the jump from the biggest stage in youth bowling to the biggest stage in the world. Cannot imagine the pride and the pressure that they must feel coming and representing their countries here.
Jaden wanting to know when the Aussies will be on the live pairs, and not so sure that they're going to make it on for this game, or for this squad. They jumped over us. They went from 13 and 14 over to 7 and 8, so at least on this squad we won't see them. But if you go to the results section on the website, worldbowling.org, go to events and then championships, click on results. If you click on participants on the singles, you can see what lanes everybody will hit during their squad, so that we can you can tell who's going to be on the featured pairs. And basically just find your favorite country like Australia, and then look at what lanes they're going to hit. If they're going to hit 9 and 10 or 11 and 12, then they will be on the live streaming. If not, then unfortunately, we won't get to see them this time around. Should get some updated standings pretty soon. Looks like just about everybody has started Game 4. And now they're in. Sing Chao Cheng of Taipei, we just saw him a few minutes ago. Like Game 2 is 723. Glenn Morton Peterson of Norway, 723. Hee-Won Kang of Korea, 711. Adrian Ong of Malaysia, 708. And Jonas Jönkönen of Finland, 682, your top 5 after 3 games. And those standings should be updated on the website in just a minute or 2. So stand by for that update. Well, we got another tweet that came in. I'm going to say the name wrong, so I'm going to apologize. Sia Farol of Malaysia. Looking forward to seeing a perfect game live on Bull TV. Let's hope that you are right. I would love to see a perfect game as well here on the featured pairs. You never know. And, we try to keep our eyes out for anybody who might have a perfect game going so that I can at least run down with my my iPhone and get a video of it to share it with you guys. But it's even better when it happens right here on the live stream pairs. So let's keep our fingers crossed that at some point we will get a 300 game right here on 9 and 10 or 11 and 12.
Again, Team USA's Bill O'Neill, the 2-time defending singles champion here at the World Championships. It's got to be pretty awesome to win not only one, but back-to-back. Bill is here in Abu Dhabi in 2014, looking to make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, Bill will be bowling on the final squad of the day today. like to see when your favorite bowler or country is going to be bowling, you can go to the results page. We've got a link to the page under the video you're watching on worldbowling.org, and you can click on the participants for the singles event, and it will show you who's on what squad.
Almost feel like we're in the sports book here in Abu Dhabi. Again, we're watching bowling live, camel racing, and rugby. Although right now it's the
It's a cheerleading
cheerleaders.
halftime show or something
Yeah,
on
it's
the
like
rugby channel.
Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders of rugby. Certainly no shortage of entertainment here.
Carissa Ann Weekly tweeting in, enjoying watching people from around the world bowl, using the hashtag 2014 WBMC. That's how we will see your tweets, so make sure you use that hashtag. And Carissa, you're exactly right. A lot of different countries that you might not otherwise get to ever see bowl come through on the live stream pairs over the course of the next week and a half or so here on Bowl TV. This game, we've got Hong Kong, Macau, Philippines, and Russia on the featured pairs.
So game 4, rolling along. We've reached the halfway point. Again, Macau, China, Hong Kong, Philippines, and Russia here in our featured pairs. Got a 40-lane center here at the Zayed Sports City. Using lanes 3 through 36, I believe, was the final count on this first of 3 squads today. Get the opportunity to see a variety of styles from around the world. And some very familiar faces as coaches even. Again, Hong Kong led by world champion Bill Hoffman and Hall of Famer Del Ballard Jr. But of these 8 players, highest being Jason Tubin of the Philippines at plus 20. And right now, the cut to the top 4 is plus 108. A 236 average, so it's probably going to take some big numbers, but you'd expect really nothing less here when you take the best bowlers in the world and put them all under one roof. And while we'll be here watching 18 games of qualifying today, a lot of these players will bowl their 6 games, and if they're not in the top 4, they're going to have nothing to worry about. But they'll have plenty of time to think about today's performance, as the earliest they would bowl again is 2 days from now. Of course, we'll have 2 days of singles competition wrapping up tomorrow afternoon locally, with the medal round of singles. Doubles will start the following day. No doubt we'll get to the point where we won't know exactly what day it is, except that it is day 1 of singles. Just after 11 a.m. here in Abu Dhabi, looks like everybody is awake and making their way to the bowling center. Game 4 of Squad 1 wrapping up. Squad 2. Some folks already in the building, watching how the lanes are being played. The bleachers are getting filled. Not a lot of strikes being thrown here on our 2 featured pairs. Just 2 through 5 frames on 11 and 12. Not too many more to our left. Leader right now through 3 games, Sing Chao Cheng, Chinese Taipei, 723. He's tied with Glenn Peterson from Norway. Hee-Won Kang from Korea, and Adrian Ang from Malaysia round out the top 4.
Kyle King asking on Twitter, interesting on the spinners on 9 and 10. How effective is that on lanes that will have more oil versus the drier conditions? And Kyle, I can tell you from having watched the spinners a lot over the years, the amount of oil doesn't really affect what they do. It's they really take the lane pattern out of play with that style, and the reason why that style of bowling, as you can see Jose stepping up right now from Macau with the spinner style, it has developed over the years because of inconsistent and sometimes non-existent oiling practices in bowling centers in China and that region, and so you really can't bowl a traditional style and get any sort of consistent reaction. That's starting to change a little bit, I think, in terms of the lane conditioning, but that has really been the cause of the development of that style of play, to try to be competitive on really unplayable lane conditions in their home countries and home centers. So that's where that comes from.
Well, you mentioned it takes the condition out of play a little bit, and of course they use lighter balls as well to create a little bit of deflection once the ball enters the pocket. And you saw that style really work out well. And was that 2011 maybe? Back at the World Championships, the Women's World Championships?
2005, I think. 2005, 2006.
Man, we're getting
like
old.
Yeah.
We've been at this a while.
It's in Denmark, and
yeah.
The spinners really dominate when the scores are lower. If the scores are under like 220, 215, 210, somewhere in there, that's the max score on the patterns, then they can become a real factor and really dominate, because they can consistently put up scores like the good spinners. There are good spinners and there are bad spinners, just like there are good bowlers and bad bowlers with the traditional style. But some of the best spinners can consistently average around 220, and sometimes a little higher. If they get some good deflection and some lucky breaks. But yeah, they can be real impactful players when the scores are a little bit lower. And I don't know that the scores are going to be quite low enough here today.
Well, I think too,
But
Lucas,
you never know.
in the recent years too, World Bowling has developed the bank of patterns, 12 patterns, and I think that equaled the playing field a little bit. Now that the players are able to have those patterns, see those patterns, practice on them, you kind of have an idea of what to expect at these world events. That way everybody has the same knowledge and access. And then, of course, once the events begin, typically they'll select 2 patterns, a long and a short, medium, this week medium and a long, 43-foot Tokyo and 38-foot Atlanta.
Well, we're moving right along here. Right now, the current cut is a 3-game total of 708. But that number obviously going to go up. That's a 236 average. And it's only after 3 games on 1 squad, and we've got 4 squads. So a long way to go before we have any idea who will make it into the medal round. I would say if you're not first on this squad, you might be in some trouble. But you never know. This could end up being the highest scoring squad of the 4, and you may get a couple of bowlers on in the medal round. But
I'd say looking at the caliber and some of the top players not bowling on this squad, I'd say that probably isn't likely, but you never know.
Yep, you just don't know. Don't know how things are going to pan out.
Don't forget too, all events, very important. So although you'll only bowl 6 games in each event, top players in all events will receive medals and of course qualify for a Masters competition. So you've got a few little sprints along the way, but marathon overall. And of course, the coveted team title. I would guess that's what most of these players had their eyes on. So at least on our feature pairs here, scores down a little bit here in game 4. Looks like 2-0, 2-10 is going to be a solid score anywhere around us here. Although some players may make it look otherwise, these conditions certainly not easy. You really have to make good shots. Of course, make your spares to find success at this level. Right now, 241 average through 3 games, leading. Certainly leaves room for a couple of spares. A couple of pairs to our left, Team USA's Marshall Kent and Sean Rash. Both struggling a little bit here in game 4. Certainly not off pace. Again, 2-0, 2-10, looking real good here in game 4. As the lanes transition, 43-foot Tokyo pattern is what we're seeing right now.
Well, we're just about done here. Game number 4, 2 to go. Running pretty close to on schedule thus far. This squad's scheduled to finish in about an hour and 15 minutes. And our second squad will get on the lanes about an hour after they finish this squad. We'll re-oil, of course, after each squad. During the re-oil breaks, Bowl TV goes offline, but of course, right back online once they start up again. And you can always find the current live stream at bowl.com/bowltv.
looks like 217 is the highest game we can see from here. We are behind lanes 9 through 12. Zayed Sports City. Of course, before each squad, bowlers get 10 minutes of practice. First game scores tend to be a little bit higher, and then as you move throughout the house, and depending on who you follow, the lanes obviously will transition. And we'll see here in game 4, scores a little bit down. So far through 3, 236. Average is the number to beat. There's not a 236 anywhere in sight game 4. High game here on 11 and 12. Potentially 200. Benshir Lavoso from the Philippines. He gets 8, finishes with 198. And that is your high game by 20 pins. See our final shot here. Marchenko from Russia. 178, 198 for the Philippines, 169, 153 for Russia. And the players should grab their equipment. Right lane moves right, left lane moves left. Going to skip a couple pairs here for game number 5. Team USA's Marshall Kent walking this way and walking by. So we won't see Team USA player Son Rash making the move as well. They've gone well past our featured pairs here. So the squad started bowling for score at 9 a.m. local time. It is now 11:20. 4 games down, 2 to go. The battle for the top 4. Long way to go until we know who our semifinalists are going to be. All right, so here's game 5. We've got Uzbekistan, Bermuda, Japan, and Norway on our featured pairs. Again, we are behind lanes 9 through 12. This is Matt Canizaro, and alongside Lucas Wiseman for the duration, day 1 of 9 here at the 2014 World Bowling Men's Championships. Here's Glenn from Norway up on lane 12, plus 141 through 4 games. That could be your leader. We'll have the updated scores here momentarily. The scores and the names do move across the house, making things a lot easier to follow along. We have a huge standing screen right in front of us, so as soon as that's updated, we'll let you know. Both players from Japan bowling well here in singles. Yamamoto plus 78 and Wada plus 56. So they both certainly are still in the hunt. Story a little bit different on our other featured pair. Again, Uzbekistan and Bermuda. Jermaine De Silva, just saw him throw a ball in lane 10. He is the highest of the four on that pair at minus 16. So with 2 games to go, the likelihood of sneaking into the top 4 to wait it out, probably not likely, but still the big picture is all events. Of course, gold, silver, and bronze medals up for grabs in all events. Lucas Wiseman back in the booth, and Lucas, you can verify for me real quick. We were talking about the big picture, the all events, of course, medals up for grabs, and then Masters play. Typically, the top 24 advance to Masters, and we'll get clarification on that as well. Again, it's only the first block of the week, so a lot on the line for these players. But right now, Lucas, we're getting ready for the updated standings here through 4 games.
Yeah, Sing Chao Cheng of Taipei in the lead, 945. Glenn Morton Peterson of Norway, who is on the featured pairs this game, getting ready to bowl upon lane 12 in second place at 941. And Hee-Won Kang of Korea, 921. That's third place. Fourth place is Adrian Ong of Malaysia at 904. 904 currently fourth place. 945 is first. Glenn Morton Peterson, far right side of your screen with a strike there in the third frame. As we are in game 5 of 6. You can find the standings by clicking the link underneath the video you're watching. Go to worldbowling.org, click on events, championships, and you'll find the link there. those just tuning in, you're watching live coverage of the 2014 World Bowling Men's Championships here from Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. I'm Lucas Wiseman. This is Game 5 of 6. So we've got Japan and Norway on 11 and 12. And over on 9 and 10, Bermuda and Uzbekistan. Glenn Morton Peterson, Norway. Big double. 2 games to go. Glenn at 941, second place on the squad. Got 3 squads of singles qualifying today. The final squad is tomorrow. First thing in the morning, 9 a.m., and then the medal round for the singles event starts at 1:30 UAE time here, local time, tomorrow afternoon. Glenn with another strike, spare, triple. It's Glenn Morton Peterson trying to put up a big score here in Game 5. Give himself a chance to make the medal round. He currently sits in second place at 941 on the squad. Yusuke Yamamoto of Japan strikes spare triple as well, and Shogo Wada of Japan in the front 4 this game. We are halfway through Game 5 on 11 and 12, finishing up the 4th frame on 9 and 10. Another strike. Shogo at the front 5 now for Japan, sitting at plus 56 coming into this game. Yusuke at plus 78. So the Japanese bowlers bowling pretty well, but not quite at the top of the leaderboard as of now. So now 6 in a row for Shogo Wada of Japan to start off game 5. We have about a game and a half to go in our opening squad of the singles event here at the 2014 World Bowling Men's Championships on Bowl TV. The second squad should start in about 2 hours. Scheduled to start at 1:30 local time here in Abu Dhabi. Nice split conversion there for Yusuke Yamamoto of Japan in the 7th frame. Bjorn of Norway with the front 6. So I got a couple of front 6s on the featured pair this game and takes it to the front 7. And as is usually the case, Matt Cannizzaro comes back only when things are starting to get exciting. Shogo Wada of Japan up on the approach right now. Front 6 trying to take it to the front 70s at the halfway point in the quest for perfection. Gets another one. I can tell you the appetite for a 300 seems to be pretty strong here behind us because they've only made it to the front 7 and we've got lots of people gathering behind and cheering. So the fans here desperate to see a perfect game, and let's hope that it happens right here on Bowl TV.
As we saw at the World Youth Championships, of course, Japan, a very vocal following. And, of course, the next squad already in the building, checking things out, getting ready for their chance. Yamamoto gets that one wide right. No doubt, as the week progresses, the crowds will grow and the excitement as well. It will get loud in here, and the acoustics, these high ceilings. So it's going to be exciting. You'll see it here live on Bowl TV.
It's an important game for Glenn Morton Peterson, Norway. He's second place, a couple of spares, and now he leaves the 3-6. So things go in the wrong direction for Glenn after a pretty decent start to the game. He needs to put some strikes together to close out this game and to put up as big a score as possible to hopefully make it into the medal round tomorrow afternoon. But right now, all the attention on the bottom bowlers on 11 and 12, both with the front 7. They're going to do a score correction on Glenn's score as it gave him 9 on his first shot instead of 8. Hey, now we've got 8 strikes in a row for Shogo Wada of Japan.
All right, we had an 8-bagger to start the day. And now, here in game 5, it is getting exciting.
Let's see if Bjorn Rudskagen of Norway can match it, and he can't. Leaves the 1 to 8 on the front 7. A good run, though, and that'll get him maybe into positive territory after this game. But he will not shoot 300, so at least we've got one of the two still going here with a couple of frames to go. Just looking at the scores across the rest of the Khalifa International Bowling Center here, and Brandon Meads of Australia with the front 6 on lane 31, the only other one who has a chance for 300 this game.
Well, we clearly had some transition there in game 4 because scores were not very good, but now a lot of strikes being thrown here in game 5 as it gets down to crunch time for these players trying to fight their way into the top 4. And then, of course, they'll have to hope to hold on through nearly 2 days of competition.
I believe that the Abu Dhabi local TV is gearing up for their broadcast. Not sure when they're going to go on the air, but there are a lot more of them that have shown up now, and I would guess that maybe for the next squad they're going to be broadcasting live on local TV here. But we've got Bowl TV for you all the time to cover the competition.
So maybe they'll plug into our feed instead of the other way around.
One more game to go after this one ends, and then we'll have a re-oil break, and next squad will be out on the lanes. Squad number 2 coming up in a little bit less than 2 hours. Looks like the live scoring is offline again, but we'll get that up and running as soon as we can. I'll make sure I tell Rick to restart the feed the hamsters, whatever he's got to do to get it up and running again. So let's take a look now at Shogo Wada of Japan, front 8, up on lane 11. Trying to take it into the final frame. Oh, the 710 goes late. and front 9 for Japan here in Game 5. What a break there. That was cool.
Gonna have to get a break or two along the way, and certainly for the TV audience, a very cool moment there.
7-pin went a little late. Messenger came across, took out the 10, and went from being a 7-10 split into the front 9, just like that. And we're going to have a chance at a perfect game going into the final frame.
Looks like Lucas Weisman's going to step away. Maybe he doesn't want to jinx Wada here in the 10th frame. Or he's going to tell Rick about the live scoring going down. So much traffic. We appreciate everybody joining us, no doubt. That is possibly a reason. We'll check on that. Right now we're in the 10th frame here, game 5 of 6. A little bit of excitement. Wada with the front 9. Both players from Norway bowling very well here.
Yeah, Messenger's flying around all over the place out there right now, don't we, Matt?
Everybody's getting loose, getting excited here. We're just coming down to the final frames. Peterson trying to hold on here into the top 4, second after 4 games. So that's 225 out there in game 5. 4 count. Doesn't lose any count on the strike.
Yeah, but a game in the 2 teens is not what Glenn wants right now here in game 5. Needs that score to be in the 230s or 240s to kind of build on the total that he had in the first 4 games. Big story here this game, though, is the front 9 for Shogo Wada. So get on Facebook and Twitter and post the link to the live streaming, bowl.com/bowltv, and get your friends to tune in for what we hope will be a very exciting 10th frame.
Luckily we have stanchions behind us as the crowd is growing and closing in. So hopefully, Lucas, you're not claustrophobic at all, but well worth the price of admission here. Game 5 possibly coming to a very exciting conclusion. Shogo Wada is going to step up on lane 12 with the front 9. Bjorn for Norway looking to finish in the 270s. So a very high scoring affair here. Low game on the pair is going to be 211 for Yamamoto. Certainly much different than we saw in game 4. And they figured out the transition. And here is Wada up on the approach. Front 9 looking for 10 here. Looking to make his way into the top 4.
There it is. 2 strikes away from our first perfect game of the championships. And I told you they were chomping at the bit here for a perfect game, and we very well may get it here from Shogo Wada, who has looked pretty strong this game. Let's take you a little closer in now, a little bit tighter look on lane 12 for Shogo Wada as he steps up for the 11th shot of this game. Perfect so far in game 5. Oh, he buries another one, and we're closing in on a perfect game here, folks. 1 strike away.
People say that bowling is hard to understand scoring. Surely nothing to misunderstand about this. 11 strikes on the scoreboard. Wada looking for 12 in a row, a perfect game here at the World Championships. No explanation needed. He is on the approach.
So here we go, a chance for a 300 game in the World Championships. Doesn't happen very often. Shogo Wada of Japan. Here it is. Oh, 297 for Shogo Wada. A great game, and he gives the crowd a taste of hopefully what is sure to come eventually. A run at 300 comes up short. 297, a great game. 3 pins short of perfection.
Lucas, he also just put himself in position to possibly lead this squad. Again, we'll have the scores updated here in a minute, but
still trails Glenn Morton Peterson by a pin, but certainly in contention now with the game to go if he can bowl a big game in Game 6 to close it out. But a heck of a game there, and always fun to have some excitement on the featured pairs. Came close, but had that last shot just get away from him a little bit. Game 6 going to get started here in just a couple of minutes, so stand by. And of course, already getting the tweets coming in about me jinxing the 300. George Ferlingos set the number at 3. I said take the over, and we're at 1 already, and we're only in one's first squad. Only bowled 5 games. Now let's hope that we can get a few 300s. Looking at the list of all-time 300s in the World Championships. Last year at the World Championships, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 300 games in the 2013 World Championships in Las Vegas. And prior to that, there were a total of 13 300 games. And Matt, do you know the first bowler to ever shoot a 300 game in the World Championships? It's a trivia question for you. It happened back in 1987 from the United States.
how about that?
Rick Steele-Smith was the first bowler to bowl a 300 game in the World Championships back in 1987.
Rick Steele-Smith had a phenomenal 1987, 1988. Holy cow. Won the Masters, won an all-events title at the Open Championships, was a collegiate star. 300 at the World Championships. Now a USBC Hall of Famer.
Now just waiting for our next group of bowlers to come in. To start our final game, running pretty close to on schedule here. Final game should get started at 11:55, and that's about 3 minutes from now. And I see most of the pairs just finishing up the 10th frame, so should be getting started here any minute with our final game. All right, getting started with Game 6 now. Bahrain and Jordan on 11 and 12. Looks like England and Pakistan on 9 and 10. Well, looks like the high score out of the bowlers on the featured pairs this game is John Wells of England at plus 41. Richie Teese at plus 23, also from England. So we head into our final game of this squad, and we should have an update on the standings in just a few minutes. We'll give you an update as soon as they come in. Just waiting on an update on the standings. Should come in shortly. Looks like everybody has transitioned into the final game already. So as soon as we get the update, which shouldn't be very long from now, we'll let you know. But we've got England, Pakistan, Jordan, and Bahrain on the featured pairs to close out this squad. And our second squad is scheduled to start in about 90 minutes.
Well, that's going to have the Kegel Flex lane machines hustling. I got two machines. And
yeah, 40 lanes to do, so should be good.
Yep.
Yeah, scheduled to start at 1:30 local time here in Abu Dhabi. right, updated standings. Glenn Morton Peterson of Norway still right up there. He jumps from second to first that game. And he sits in first place with a 230.8 average, 11.54. Shogo Wada of Japan now second place, 11.53 after the 297 game here on Bull TV. Adrian Ong of Malaysia, 11.48. Hee-Won Kang of Korea, 11.39. And our previous leader was Sing Chao Chang of Taipei, now at 11.37. So a 230.8 average leading. We'll have to see what happens, but it's hard to know if a 230.8 average is going to be enough to make it into the top 4. My gut tells me probably not, but we'll see. There's still one game left, and these bowlers can still add to their totals. Although Glenn Morton Peterson missed a single pin in the first frame of this final game. So we'll just have to wait and see. All you can do is get as much as you can and hope that it's enough. But certainly no huge scores being put up. Although 230 is nothing to shake a stick at. That's a pretty good average. But when you're talking about the best in the world,
So we're not playing for averages here. We're playing for gold medals.
usually takes a little bit higher than that. Just have to wait and see. We are in our final game of the squad. And again, squad 2 will start in about 90 minutes.
Lucas, only 25 pins separating first and 7th place. So a lot of players in contention right now to lead the squad. Of course, you want to solidify your spot in the top 4. Anything can happen over the 4 squads, of course. You could lead this squad and not even come close to the top 4. So, of course, you want to get as many pins as you can. We saw 297 last game, and that certainly helps.
I think that statistic that the top 7 are only 25 pins apart pretty much solidifies my thought that really nobody's pulling away, and therefore makes it hard for potentially anybody on this squad to make it into the finals, although we just have to wait and see how they finish up. But yeah, it's going to be tough. You just don't know what the scoring pace is going to be like on the next few squads. But like I always say, the picture gets clearer every squad that wraps up. So we'll have a little bit better idea after the next squad. can tell you last year in the singles event, it only took a 227.5 average to make it into the top 4. So scoring pace appearing to be a little bit higher already after just one squad with a game to go. But our two players at the top of the standings, both within eye shot here of us, Glenn Morton Peterson through 4 frames, open, strike, spare, strike, and Shogo Wada of Japan, strike, spare, strike, spare. So neither one of them really lighting it up here in this final game to start things off through the first 4 frames.
Well, score's close enough that anybody in the top 7, maybe even a little bit farther down the list, can make a move here in the final game. We saw last year Bill O'Neill shot 300 in his final game of qualifying and shot to the top of the standings, went on to win his 2nd consecutive gold medal.
He was outside of the cut going into that last game last year and shot 300 to make it in. And then went on to win it in the medal round.
And our 2 featured pairs here. It doesn't look like anybody's going to make a run at the top 4, but certainly a chance to get some TV time, and hopefully the folks at home are tuning in to see their favorite players. Got representatives from Bahrain, Jordan, England, and Pakistan.
And the standings on worldbowling.org show you the average score per game. Game 5 was the highest field average game thus far, 198.14. That's about a pin and a half higher than any of the other previous games. The average score for the field had been going down each game, and then it went up in Game 5. So that, shows you a little bit of maybe they're opening up a little bit going into Game 5, but will that continue into Game 6? We'll find out.
Well, certainly we'll keep an eye on that transition. As you said, scores went down from Game 2 to 3 and down to in Game 4. If that's the tricky transition point, then certainly an opportunity for the other coaches and players to look on and see that number as well and try to figure out a better strategy for that period of time. And you might see the lanes played a little bit differently as the squads progress, but it seems like so far, whoever can figure out the move at that point and stay ahead of the transition should find the success. And a lot of these players and coaches definitely smart enough to see that and understand that, and be able to come up with a theory and a strategy as the day progresses.
We got about a half a game left here on this squad. And then we will go off the air during the re-oil break because nobody wants to watch lane machines going up and down the lane. But we'll be back on the air when they start at approximately 1:30 p.m. here in the UAE. That is in about 80 minutes now. Of course, that's an estimated start time. I would assume that we'll be pretty close to on time. But of course, you can find the live stream that's in progress always at bowl.com/bowltv. Shogo Wada of Japan starting to put some strikes together. 3 in a row. He's on lane 7 if you want to follow him on the live scoring. Strike, spare, triple for Shogo Wada as he's trying to put up a big final game to lead the squad. Glenn Morten Peterson of Norway fading a bit this last game, can only max at 227 with 3 frames to go.
Glenn's been at the top or around the top all 6 games, or at least the first 5 games. And
yeah, but he hasn't doubled through 7th frames.
that's why we bowl 6.
Yep. Koreans are bowling pretty good in this final game. They're on lane 15. They both have a chance to still lead the squad. Kimmo Lentinen of Finland, no doubles through 6 frames. Through 7 frames, I should say, but he is clean. He was at plus 135 coming into this game. Adrian Ong of Malaysia is sitting at plus 148, can max at 223 with 2 frames left. So I'm going to guess it's going to come down to Japan and Korea as to who is going to lead on the squad. Shogo Wada just left a single pin and made it. Max score for him is 239, which would get him to plus 192. Asking us to put the camel racing on, but the camel racing is over for now. Now we have horseback riding.
Well, the camels need to rest too.
Yeah, the camels are resting, so they've got horseback riding on now, and they're dumping water on the horses to keep them cool. Looks like, but yeah, no camel racing right now, unfortunately. Maybe that's what we should do during the re-oil breaks is put the camel racing on the Bull TV. But we might get in trouble for that, for stealing their content, so we don't want to do that. But like I said, if you want to see what the camel racing looks like, you can go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/LRWiseman, and posted some videos of the camel racing because I find it pretty entertaining. And apparently they do here as well because they have the camel races pretty much every day on television here in Abu Dhabi. the odds of one of the Koreans leading this squad it's going up and up as we finish up this game. Seems like it's going to come down to how Shogo Wada of Japan and the Koreans finish up, although Glenn Morton Peterson has turned it up a little bit here in the last few frames. He's got 3 strikes in a row. Can still get to 227, which would put him at plus 181 for the 6 games. Well, the Koreans kind of sputter into the finish here. Hee-Won Kang just got a 4-count split on a 3-bagger, and that is going to hurt his total. Loses a lot of pin count in that frame and missed the split, so an open frame in the 9th for Hee-Won Kang. So now looking more likely that Shogo Wada of Japan will lead the squad, although it's not determined just yet. Could still be Glenn Morton Peterson of Norway. Could be anybody else. There were a lot of people that were pretty close, so we'll just have to wait for the final standings to see. When it's that close, it's really hard to tell who is going to be the top scorer.
Well, certainly will get exciting to calculate it out this time tomorrow. There's still a long way to go until then. This is just the first of 4 squads, so of course, leading or being in the top 4, this squad is your only guarantee to have even a chance.
Yeah, you got to be in the top 4 or you got no chance at all, and see what happens. Yeah, just wrapping up the first squad of the singles event. Only a couple of frames to go here. And the second squad will start in about 70 minutes at 1:30 local time here in Abu Dhabi. Well, Glenn Morton Peterson with 5 strikes in a row. Heading into his final shot of the game, could get to 227. And that may be enough. I think it will be enough, at least in terms of the players who are right here in front of us, to occupy that top spot. But if anybody a little bit further down the standings posted a big score, all bets are off. I'll try to take a look here at the live scoring and see if I can find anybody with a bigger total. Glenn finishes with plus 181, looks like.
Couple big scores across the bowling center here, and while they might not make a run here at singles, everyone trying to put themselves in good position for all events and masters competition. Every frame, every pin counts, certainly, in the big picture here.
Well, it sure looks like Glenn is going to lead on the squad at plus 181. Shogawada of Japan plus 171. Shangyong Shin of Korea at plus 167. Hee-won Kang of Korea also at plus 167. So all unofficial, of course, but keep an eye on worldbowling.org for the updated standings at the end of this squad as we wrap things up here.
All right, Lucas, we kind of had an uneventful Game 6 here. Some excitement, Game 5, and we are about done. The final couple shots here. Coming up, nice finish for Richie Teese from England over on lane 10. He'll throw the final shot here on this first squad of qualifying in the singles at the 2014 World Bowling Men's Championships. He'll be in the 220s.
Like I said, unofficially, I think Glenn Morton Peterson of Norway at plus 181 is the high score. After that, I think it's Shogo Wada at plus 171, and then the Koreans both at 167, but that's unofficial. And you'll be able to find the official standings at worldbowling.org in just a few minutes. How about that? Matt finishing about 5 minutes ahead of schedule on this squad, so looking pretty good to start Squad 2 in about an hour and 5 minutes. So 65 minutes, we'll be back on the air. So be sure to join us for Squad 2. We'll be back with you in just a little bit here on Bull TV.